please keep it quiet. Jazakumullah khairan. Again, for our dear brothers in the back, can please keep it quiet there. I'll appreciate it. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جازيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم أحينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. ثم أما بعد. We talked about anger, and then anger can lead to hatred, because when you get angry and you can fulfill your anger and let it go, then this could be the end of it. But if you cannot do anything, this hate stays in the heart. This becomes called hiqd. And hiqd also leads to hasad. And hasad, the definition of hasad is to wish for the blessings of someone else to be gone. When you feel, discomfort in your heart when someone gets something good, like get married or get a job or business or something, and also to feel good when the blessings they have are gone. Some of the blessings are gone. Right? So that's the definition of hasad. You wish the blessings of someone else to be vanished. Right? And the word ghibta, the term ghibta, also can mean hasad, but that means also is used as hasad, but it is okay hasad. It's not haram, which is to wish for yourself the same blessings that your brother has. You see someone, got a good job, and you wish to get the same. You don't want his blessings to be gone. You don't want him to lose his job, but you want to be as successful as he is. Right? So now the difference between hasad and ghibta is clear, I hope. Right? However, the word munafasa also, the word munafasa and ghibta, munafasa means competition. So it's okay to compete with your brother in doing good. You study and you want to be the first, to get the first place, and you study hard, he studies hard, but you wish for yourself. All right? And you apply for a job, and you know others are applying, and you wish to get this job. There's nothing wrong with that. This is called munafasa. In fact, munafasa could be, in the religious matter, is highly recommended. As the Quran says, وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسْ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. With this, talking about the Jannah and the pleasure of Jannah, let the competitors compete. Right? سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Compete with one another. To achieve Jannah, عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used the word hasad in a positive way. That the negative hasad is to wish for the blessings for someone else to be gone. But the good hasad is also linguistically called hasad. But that's acceptable hasad, that you wish that you have the same blessings that your brother has. He said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا حسد إلا في اثنتين. Hasad should only be in two cases. And hasad, again, the positive meaning of hasad. He said, رجل آتاه الله مالا فسلطه على هلكته في الحق. If you want to be like someone, if you wish that you are like someone, think about these two people. One who is wealthy, Allah gave him so much money, and he's using this money fi sabilillah, right and left. Allah made him wealthy, very wealthy, and he gives sadaqah, and he helps the poor and the needy, donate for masjids and hospitals and in all ways of good. If you want to be like someone, be like this one. Be like this one. That's called ghibta, or the positive hasad, the okay hasad, the acceptable hasad. And the second is someone who has knowledge, and he is practicing this knowledge and teaching others. So if you want to be like someone, of course, if you ask anybody, what kind of blessings that others have that you want to have, so okay, I want to be like this person who has a good job and a lot of money and a big house and all these kind of things. However, Rasulullah ﷺ said, if you really want to wish to be like someone, look at one of these two and wish that you are one of them, because they get tremendous reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the beautiful hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, people are four kinds. There are two kinds of people, or four kinds of people. رَجُلٌ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ مَالًا وَعِلْمًا. These are the four categories. The first one is the person who got knowledge and money. And he is practicing this knowledge, applying it in his life, and he's spending from his money fi sabilillah. That's the best, right? He has knowledge and money, and he's spending money fi sabilillah and using this knowledge to live with. And the second person is the person who has knowledge but he does not have money, right? And he's applying this knowledge, and he says, I wish I have money like this brother so I can spend like him. All right? And the Prophet ﷺ said, فَهُمَا فِي الْأَجْرِ سَوَاء. The reward is the same. Can you believe it? Even to wish that you have money to spend like this Muslim righteous person spent, right? So think big. If you see someone who is really multi-millionaire and Muslim and is doing good and building hospitals, delivering aid to those who are in need in Africa and elsewhere, building hospitals, building masajid, yeah, I wish I'm like this man. I would have done the same thing. If you are sincere, then your reward will be like his reward, because you are sincere. Okay? See the second person. The third person, the one who has money has no knowledge, and he's using this money in committing sins, disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Use this money to have fun. Right? And the fourth one is the one who has no knowledge and no money. And yet he says, I wish I have money like this third person, so I will do what he's doing. I will go in Vegas and I will do all these things. I wish I have money like him. And if I have money like him, I will do what he's doing. I will live my life like him. And Rasulullah ﷺ said, فَهُمَا فِي الْوِزْرِ سَوَاء. They are getting the same wizr or sin. Right? So think about this. Think about what we do with our knowledge and what we do with our money. So this is the definition of hasad and munafasa or ghibta. Imam Ghazali said that the origin of hasad is hiqd, and the origin of hiqd is ghadab, anger. So the fruit of ghadab and hatred is hasad. Because when you hate someone, then you don't wish him to be better than you in anything. Right? And this is a very bad character. And before we ask how can we protect ourselves from the hasad of others, we need to think about how can we clean our heart from committing this hasad. And as we will see, Imam Ghazali mentioned that hasad usually happens between peers, cousins, relatives. People are doing the same job. Even scholars. It's very well established fact that there is envy among scholars. I know this can be a surprise to some, but there's also competition. And ulama al-hadith, they have also well established ruling that, because ulama al-hadith, they have to grade people who narrate the hadith. So for a hadith to be sahih, all people in the chain of narration must be Adl. Adl means trustworthy. So sometimes the ulama al-mu'asirin, those who live at the same time, when someone says, no, this is bad, this is not trustworthy, the ulama don't accept his testimony. Why? Because they live at the same time and they live almost in the same city or region. You will not imagine how many people talk very negatively about Imam Malik, for example, or Abu Hanifa. Many people said, oh, it's ignorant, stupid, all these, and the word himar is used also about these big, great scholars. Ibn Ishaq, you know the Sirah of Ibn Ishaq, the greatest scholar of Sirah, Muhammad ibn Ishaq, whose student is Ibn Hisham, who wrote a very famous book of Sirah. He lived in the same town with Imam Malik, and Imam Malik don't like him. And he said, no, it's not trustworthy. Other ulama said, no, this is because they lived at the same time, and so on. So he is trustworthy. In the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-hasad ya'kul hasanat kama ta'kul an-nar al-hatab." Hasad destroys your hasanat as the fire destroys the dry wood. And the hasid actually is harming himself very badly. It's like fire in his heart. Every time he sees this blessing, every time he sees this brother and his children, mashallah, they're healthy and good and successful, and he does not like. Why his kids are better than my kids? Why his wife is better than my wife? Why he has more money than I do? Why is this? No, I lost my money and his money is increasing. I lost my job and he has 2 jobs. Why is that? As if he is judging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the problem of the hasid. He suffers so badly. So badly. And he is objecting the distribution of blessings made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because no one else. وَرَبُّكَ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَقْتَرُ. Right? قُلْ إِنَّ رَبِّي يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Allah makes the rizq of someone so great and the rizq of other so little. That's Allah's decision. And if you're not happy with this, then you are not happy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very problematic. And people don't pay attention to this. Many people don't pay attention to this. And they are practicing this when they feel why they have these things. And he or she would wish that this person would lose these kind of blessings. And usually if someone particularly, if you have something that the hasid does not have, that will be a problem. You have a job, he has a job. You are married, he is married. You have children, he has children. But your children are much more successful than his children. And this is the hasad comes in this area. Right? Or you have a good job and he does not have a good job. He does not like his job and you like your job. And this makes him very discomfortable. Right? And Sha'ir says that اصبر على كيد الحسود فإن صبرك قاتله فالنار تأكل بعضها إن لم تجد ما تأكله. Be patient. Right? When you know someone is doing this hasad against you, be patient, because your patience will kill him. Because fire, if you don't add any fuel to the fire will eat itself until it's burned down. This is exactly what the hasad is doing. He's burning himself. Can the hasad harm? Yes, it can harm. It can harm by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like a disease. Right? You can catch flu, and that happens all the time. It's the high season of flu now. Right? And this also can be something like this, can hurt. How? Allah A'lam, we don't know exactly how. Some people say, no, this is like nonsense. But the reality suggests that that's true. Right? And the Quran Kareem talked about this. وَإِن يَكَادُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيُزْلِقُونَكَ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ. The end of Surah Al-Qalam. نون والقلم وما يسطرون. In the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِن يَكَادُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيُزْلِقُونَكَ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ. The kuffar would love to, or they're about to kill you with their own eyes. لما سمعوا الذكر ويقولون إنه لمجنون. But they can hurt. A good nazar, right? A good nazar. What's the difference between nazar and hasad? Every nazar is hasad, but not every hasad is not nazar. Hasad is general. Nazar is specific. Nazar, when you see, you look at something that can hurt, and you wish it get destroyed or harmed. What you may hear about someone you know, you cannot see him, but you heard that he lives in Texas, and oh, you know what? His company, a small company, became, mashallah, very big, and now they have these stocks, and they made profits, and you don't see that, but you hear about it. But you practice this hasad even though you are not seeing it. So every nazar is hasad, but not every hasad is necessary nazar. Right? In the hadith, كاد الفقر أن يكون كفرا. Poverty was just about very close from being kufr. And the hasad was about to overcome the qadr. You can see the relationship between faqr and kufr. In hadith, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kufr wal-faqr. A'udhu billah. Because faqr sometimes can lead to kufr. This is what happened actually to millions of Muslims who converted because they were hungry, and whoever comes and brings them some food, give them books and introduce any religion, they convert. So faqr can lead to kufr. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us all from kufr and faqr. And the hasad was about to overcome the qadr. Right? Because it affects. It's like dua. Dua also can beat the qadr. Because dua is part of the qadr. When you make dua, something is supposed to happen. You make dua and then your dua is strong. This can change what is written. As Zakaria alayhi salam says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Al-hasidu aduwu ni'mati. The one who envy others is the enemy of my blessings that I give to people. Mutasakhitu liqada'i. He does not accept my judgment, my qada. غير راض بقسمتي. Dissatisfied with my distribution of blessings. And the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, is أخوف ما أخاف على أمتي أن يكثر فيهم المال فيتحسدون ويقتتلون. One day, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came, and you know, the Sahaba after Hijrah were very poor, and many of them were staying in the masjid, have nothing. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam looked at them and smiled at them. He said, Wallahi, I'm not concerned about poverty for you. I'm not afraid that poverty will hurt you. I'm afraid that the dunya will come to you, and you أن تفتح عليكم الدنيا فتتنافسوها كما تنافسوها فتهلككم كما أهلكتهم. So you will compete to get more of this dunya, and this dunya will destroy you as destroyed those who came before you. أخاف أن يكثر فيهم المال. I'm afraid that the money will become so much, and then we'll envy each other and then fight with each other. Also in the hadith, استعينوا على قضاء الحوائج بالكتمان. Very important advice. Hadith of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. استعينوا على قضاء الحوائج بالكتمان فإن كل ذي نعمة محسود. Every one of us, Allah has blessed him with something. Right? You have something others don't have. Right? You must have something others don't have. And Allah distributes these blessings the way He wants. Right? Someone has the wealth but does not have the health, or has the health and the wealth but does not have good children. Everybody misses something and he has something. Be thankful for what you get and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to provide for you what you don't have. But here the hadith says, استعينوا على قضاء الحوائج. قضاء الحوائج means getting things done. If you want to get things done, kitman. Kitman means hide. You want to establish a new business. Don't go and inform people, you know what, I'm doing this, I'm planning to do that. Alhamdulillah, I get this, and inshallah next step, you just keep it. When you establish it and it becomes a reality, then you can let people know. But in the process, keep it to yourself. This is how we can achieve something. Okay. Once things go out in the process, this hasad can cause it to stop. Right? When you have haja, you are doing something, keep it until it's done, and then say, Alhamdulillah, by the way, my wedding is next month. But no, I went to this family, I talked to this family, and Alhamdulillah, we agreed and everything. Does this mean that we mistrust people? No, we don't mistrust people. It's not about mistrust. You may trust one or two of your friends, and they, with good intention, will take this to third party, and this third party is hasad, right? So it's always better to keep things until it's accomplished. Then you can say, Alhamdulillah, by the way, Alhamdulillah, I made all arrangement to go for Hajj this year, right? And so on. فإن كل ذي نعمة محسود. فإن كل ذي نعمة محسود. Everyone has ni'mah, is mahsud. You have something others don't have, then you will be a target for this enemy. In the hadith also, إِنَّ لِنِعْمِ اللَّهِ أَعْدَاءَ, are enemies of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who are they, Ya Rasulullah? He said, those who envy others. الَّذِينَ يَحْسُدُونَ النَّاسَ عَلَى مَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. As we mentioned last week, those who have the Sahaba radiallahu anhum were wealthy, and other Sahaba were not as wealthy, and they say, Ya Rasulullah, they do things that we cannot do. And in the end, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. It's Allah's fadl. And He gives to whoever He wants. Cannot say, Ya Allah, I want to be like a scholar like this person. I wish I'm this scholar. Right? And ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ, Allah chose some people to get the knowledge, and others to get wealth, and others to get good children, others to get good health and long life. And everybody has something others don't have. One person with the name of Awn ibn Abdullah, he entered to one of the governors, and he said, advise me, and he advised him. He said, إِيَّاكَ وَالْكِبْرِ, be aware of arrogance. Because arrogance was the first sin committed. When Iblis said to Allah, I'm not going to bow to Adam, I'm better than him. And he said, وَإِيَّاكَ وَالْحِرْص, stinginess. Be aware, don't be stingy. Because what brought Adam out of Jannah was hirs. Allah gave him the entire Jannah, but told him only one tree is forbidden, and he want to eat from this tree. And be aware of hasad. إِيَّاكَ وَالْحَسَدِ فَإِنَّمَا قَتَلَ ابْنُ آدَمَ أَخَاهُ حِينَ حَسَدَهُ. You know the story of Qabil and Habil, the first two sons of Adam. The older, so Hawa or Eve used to give birth to two at a time, right? A boy and a girl. And then next pregnancy, a boy and a girl. So the first boy should marry the second girl, and the second boy should marry the first girl. Sisters, brothers and sisters, that was okay back then. So the older brother is supposed to marry the younger sister, and the young brother should marry the older sister. This is what Allah said to Adam. But he did not like it. No, because I want to marry the same sister that was born with me because she's more beautiful and I like her. Now I have a problem. This is the commandment there. So he said, no, I'm not going to let this go. So Adam said, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, every one of you should sacrifice something. So the older brother was a farmer, and the younger brother was a shepherd. And the farmer brought the worst of the fruits and vegetables in his fields and brought it as a sacrifice. And the younger brother, shepherd, he brought the best of the sheep that he has to sacrifice. And the sign was that the fire will come and take the accepted sacrifice. So this happened to the sacrifice of the younger brother. And in this case, the older brother, this is going to commit hasad. Why? Why him? Why not me? And we know this what happened next. Shaitan told him, you know what? There's a way to get rid of him. You know what's death, and you don't know what's murder. You don't know what it is. I've never seen any animal or human killing another human. So I told him, when you sleep, get this rock and smash his head, then he'll be gone. And he did that. فطوعت له نفسه قتل أخيه فقتله فأصبح من الخاسرين. Hasad can make a brother kills his brother. Can hasad be committed by the believers? Of course. Of course. And the story of Yusuf alayhi salam starts with hasad. His brothers were believers, are the children of a prophet, Yaqub. And their grandfather is Ishaq, and the great-grandfather is Ibrahim, are believers. But they say, why our father loved our brother Yusuf much more than ourselves? قالوا ليوسف وأخوه أحب إلى أبينا منا ونحن عصبة إن أبانا لفي ضلال مبين. That's not fair. That's not right. That's why it is really very important. One of the greatest lessons we learn from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam is never prefer one of your children over the others. Even if you have this preference in your heart, don't show it in action. And kids are very sensitive, extremely sensitive, and very observant. Very much. You cannot imagine. If you kiss one child and you don't kiss, oh, why you didn't kiss me? You know, you didn't, even if you do it without intention, you know, but any little thing you do to this child and the other child gets upset. Oh, you did this to him and you did not to me. I know you don't like me, and all these kind of things. And that's why it is also important when you give gifts to your children. This actually, many people do this mistake when it comes to mirath. People grow older and they want to give one of the children something and not giving the others. And it happened. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day one man came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, I want you to be my witness. I want to give this to my son. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the beginning said, yes, okay. And then he said, did you give all of his siblings the same? He said, no. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I cannot be a witness to this. Go and find someone else. It's not. Because what happens, this creates this hasad. And you can see this. I don't know if you've seen this. I've seen it over and over again. Brothers and sisters, when their father passed away, then they turn to enemies. Because everybody claimed a bigger portion of the mirath. No, that's not yours. No, when you get married, my dad gives you this, and you have to. I have to get the same thing. And all these stories, it happens all the time. Brothers and sisters fight over the money that their father left behind, especially if it's plenty. You have lands and factories and cash and all these kind of things. And some parents are giving, some are writing in their will that this daughter will get much more than her. Why is that? For one reason or the other. And this creates problems. You leave the world and you leave your children fighting each other. You don't want this to happen. That's why the mirath is not even perhaps one of the ahkam that Allah Himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself, did not even leave this to the sunnah, to the Prophet. Not even the Prophet, Allah Himself. يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنتين فلهن. The percentage is very precise for this reason. For this reason. This is one of the subtle issues in Islamic law. And that's why you cannot marry a woman and her sister at the same time. وأن تجمعوا بين الأختين. Why is that? Why is that? Because when a man marries two women, he has two wives, what happens between these two wives? They live in peace? That's the exception. If you know something like that, will be the exception. But oftentimes, or most of the time, they live in war. They have hasad. Wives of the Prophet, our mothers. There are plenty of stories. You'll be surprised how jealous they were. I don't know. I'm not saying hasad, but they were jealous. And this jealousy can turn to hasad as well. And in the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, he added something. You cannot marry a woman and her aunt, maternal or paternal aunt, for the same reason. You don't want to break the family and to bring this hatred. Imam Ghazali mentioned a nice story. I know everybody likes stories. This is a nice story, like the stories we hear in movies. This king has an assistant or a minister who stands next to the king every day. The king sits on his throne and runs the business, and then he stands on his right and he repeats this statement every time. أحسن للمحسن بإحسانه. Treat the muhsin according to his ihsan. In other words, when people do something good, reward them for that. فإن المسيء سيكفيه إساءته. And the wrongdoers, or the evil-doing people, their evil will destroy them. So that's how they open up the meeting. Reward the muhsin, the doer of good, and the musi will be hurt by his isa, by his evil. His evil will hurt him eventually. And someone actually did hasad to this man because he stands to the right side of the king, and he get this position. He's the assistant of the king. And this man said, "Wow, I wish I have his job, to be very close from the king and to be trustworthy by the king, and thinks that very good job, authority and power." So he went to the king. This man, the hasid, the bad guy, he went to the king and he told him, "This guy that you trust, stand on the right side. Oh, it's a bad guy. He always talk negatively about you." I said, "Really? What does he say?" He say he's abkhar. Abkhar means that his mouth always smells evil, smells bad. I said, "Really? He says that?" I said, "Yes." And to prove this, just ask him to come near to you, to talk to him, and you will find out that he will always put his hand on his nose like this. He doesn't want to smell the smell of your mouth. And the king said, "Well, let's do that." Next morning, this hasid, the bad guy, called the good guy and said, "You know what, let's eat breakfast together before you go to the king." And he put a lot of onion and garlic in this food. And the guy ate. Then he went, stood next to the king, and he said the same thing: reward the good doers, and the evil of the wrongdoers will hurt them. And the king told him, "Come, I want to talk to you about something." So he came near the king, and he put his hand so that the king does not smell the garlic and the onion that he ate. And the king, at the same time, said, "Yeah, the other guy is right." Then he said to him, "Well, I want to write this a receipt to you. So you go to the treasurer and you get this money, withdraw this money." So it's like a gift. And he wrote something with his own hand and his own seal. And he wrapped it and he gave it to him and told him, "Go to this person and get the gift, your gift." And the guy was very thankful to the king. On his way, that hasid guy told him, "What is this?" He said, "It's a gift." "Gift?" He said, "A gift?" He said, "Yes." "Oh, who gave you this gift?" "The king." "Really?" "Yeah." He wrote it with his own hand. He said, You got this, you are so lucky. You got this job and now you're getting gift." So you want it? He said, "Yeah, of course." I said, "Okay, it's yours, take it." "Really?" "Yeah." Go to that guy and give this letter to him and he will take care of you. And he went to that guy working for the king and he told him, "This is from the king." The king wrote it with his own hand. And the guy opened it and it's written, "Once you receive this letter, kill this guy," right? The messenger, and open up his stomach and put him, crucify him somewhere. And the guy opened his message with the king, send a great recommendation. He said, "What is it?" He said, "You must be killed now." He said, No. Something is wrong here. That's not me supposed to bring it to you. It's someone else." He said, well, I have to do what the king said. And he did it. One of the wise people said, Al-hasadu jurhun la yabra. Hasad is like a wound that never heals. Never heal. وَحَسْبُ الْحَسُودِ مَا يَلْقَى. It's enough for the hasid what he gets. This burning, always, and anxiety, worry, and hate. That's enough for him. That's enough as punishment. And a Bedouin guy said that I did not see a zalim, transgressor, who looks like a transgressed against, like the hasid. He's transgressing against others, but he's actually hurting himself. The Quran Kareem also says to the believers, وَدَّ كَثِيرٌ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ Surah Al-Baqarah. وَدَّ كَثِيرٌ مِنْ أَهْلِ. Many of the people of the book, they wish لَوْ يَرُدُّونَكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ إِيمَانِكُمْ كُفَّارًا حَسَدًا مِنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِهِمْ. Out of envy, they wish that you would turn back to kufr. Because they know Muhammad is the final. They know very well all the signs of his prophethood are there. They read the book, and they used to say to their enemies, soon the final prophet will come, we'll be the first people to follow him, and we will discipline you. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ مَا عَرَفُوا كَفَرُوا بِهِ. Safiya, radiallahu anha, al-Mu'mineen, Safiya bint Huyay ibn Akhtab. Huyay ibn Akhtab was the leader of Bani Nadir. And she said, I was young when Rasulullah came to Medina. And my father, Huyay, and my uncle Yasir, they went to check whether the Prophet ﷺ is the real prophet that their book's talking about or not. And she said, I remember very well. Every time my father, my uncle comes in, I run to them. They, carry me and hug me and play with me. But this day, they came. And I came, they don't even look at me. And they went and sat on the couch. And she said, I heard them. My uncle is asking my father, Ahuwa huwa? Is it him? Ahuwa huwa? He said, Naam. Yes, wallahi. Huwa huwa. It's him. And then Yasir, her uncle, said to him, so what are you going to do? She said, عَدَاوَتُهُ مَا بَقِيتِ. He will be my enemy as long as I live. She said, I remember this very well. Why? It's hasad. Do they know he's Muhammad? Yes, they know Muhammad. But the descendant of Ismail, not the descendant of Israel, of Yaqub. That's why. وَدَّ كَثِيرٌ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. And the hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ said, the Ahlul Kitab envy us for three things. One is Jum'ah. Second is saying Ameen after the Imam. When the Imam says, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, say Ameen. This Ameen that really represents the unity of the community. I know in Hanafis that don't say Ameen loudly, but if you go and pray in Egypt or somewhere else, I remember when I was young, I liked this, I'm waiting for Ameen. You go to Masjid al-Husayn, huge masjid. The Imam says, وَالضَّالِّينَ, Ameen. All people together, right? It's fun. وَدُّوا لَوْ تَكْفُرُونَ كَمَا كَفَرُوا فَتَكُونُونَ سَوَاءً. They wish that you become kuffar like them, so you become equal.
What is the third thing, Imam?
Huh?
The Jumu'ah and Ameen, what is the third thing?
Yeah, what is the third thing? What is the third thing? Is it, huh? I know.
They want us to do the same as them so we can be in hell.
Yes. Yeah. Because they cannot join. They cannot, this kuffar, they cannot. They decided not to. Right? And this is actually what Imam Ghazali is talking about. If you and some, Abu Jahl said, You know Abu Jahl is the Fir'aun of this ummah. He said, كنا وبني هاشم كفرسي رهان. We, our tribe, and Bani Hashim were like the running horses in a horse race. Right? Like head to head, very close from each other. When they do something good, they feed, we feed. The Hujjaj, yani, those who come for Hajj. They shelter, we shelter. They give Zamzam, and we do the same thing. Now they are saying, we have a prophet. How can we compete with them in this? They knew Muhammad ﷺ is trustworthy. But they decided not to believe because of this. That's very clear. It's tribalism. We don't have a candidate to compete with Muhammad. You know, we have nobody like him. To say that we also have a prophet. Some other tribes, al-mutanabbi'in, many other people claim to be prophet. You know, Musaylima al-Kadhab. Musaylima claimed that he's a prophet, and God talked to me, you know, give me Quran. Amr ibn al-As, you know, Amr ibn al-As, before he became Muslim, he was a friend of Musaylima. And he would go to him and said, okay, so I am a prophet. Well, Amr said, really? He said, yeah. And I also received the revelation. He said, okay, tell me what you get. And he said, الفيل الفيل وما أدراك ما الفيل له خرطوم طويل وذيل قصير. And Amr said, what are you talking about? Is this your Quran? He said, yes. He said, Wallahi, I know you are a liar and Muhammad is truthful. But the liar of Mudar is dearer to us than the truthful of Bani Hashim. It's obvious, you know. What are you talking? This is not Quran. You're not the character of Muhammad. You cannot compete with him. This. I'll just end with this maratib. Imam Ghazali talked about the maratib, different levels of hasad. Number one is the worst one, that the hasad wishes that the blessings of others be gone. And lower than this is the one who does not wish for someone else to lose his blessings, but he wishes the same for himself. And the third is that he does not want the blessings to be gone from someone, but if he cannot get the same thing, then he would wish then this blessing to be gone for the other guy so that he does not look behind. Like two people are competing, like our peers, graduated the same year, and someone got a very good job, and the other guy knows I cannot get it. Or someone, they are peers, but you know, someone went to marry the daughter of the biggest scholar in the city, or the daughter of the judge, or something big. Even if you found a good wife, and she's not going to be like the daughter of this guy will be like in the top. I cannot compete with him in this. This in of itself is not bad. Imam Ghazali says that if someone went ahead of you in one field or the other, and you are behind, nobody likes to be behind. This in of itself is not bad, but when you wish that he loses what he got in order for you to be with him, that is the bad envy. I'll stop here. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. If you have any comment or question. Yes?
You mentioned that the four kinds of people, the one with both knowledge and wealth, and the last two was wealth but no knowledge. And
misusing this money.
And the last one was
neither
knowledge nor wealth. And you said that Prophet ﷺ said that the last one will have the same punishment as the third one.
Yes.
But at the same time, we know if somebody who wishes something bad, or if I have an intention of doing something bad, I'm not going to be punished for it unless I commit that punishment, do that crime.
Right.
So how come it does not apply in this particular case?
This is, you are talking about thinking about doing something wrong as one particular act, but not that you want to live a lifestyle of someone else. Wallahu a'lam. Yani, sometimes we get weak, right? He said, I want to, I meet this girl, for example. And they say, astaghfirullah, that's not a good age. Forget about it. This is one instant. But you don't want to, so I want to live my life like this superstar. Surround myself with all these girls and go to Vegas. I'm going to turn my entire life like this. And he does not have knowledge. And his heart is bad. He's a bad person. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that if he has the money, he would have done the same thing. Allahu alam. That's a good question. Yes, so let's
So when
listen.
he told a man, he came to the man and said that even I'm a prophet, and the man said something in Arabic. So the man said, man started to laugh.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
He tried to do something looks like Quran. But Arabs are smart, they know that's nonsense. He thought if he make a short surah, like Surah Al-Fil, or Surah Al-Asr, or Takathur, then he can perhaps get some followers, and people think, not a big difference. But he said this, Al-Fil, Al-Fil, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْفِيل. Fil, the elephant. له خرطوم طويل, has a long trunk, وذيل قصير, and short tail. Found this funny? Yes.
When you mention about Nazar and
Hassan.
The sufferings are different. Like Nazar means the person who
Sees something.
sees something, but the
And
person,
his inside goes through his eyes.
So the other person suffers there. Right?
Yes.
In Nazar.
Maybe.
Because
Possibly.
that's why they say, right? I mean, like somebody is.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. So now, how does this happen? Is it possible that when someone looks at something with hate, it can affect? Yes. It can affect. Right? Some snakes actually kill with their eyes. When they get an eye contact with birds or something like this, they fall down and they go and devour them. Imam al-Qayyim actually talked about this, and he said that this is like nafsani thing. It's like internal. We're talking about the soul, not the body. When the soul takes the shape of evil, then it can be effective. Can be effective. So when the hasid, it gets the worst of him. You have the best of you and the worst of you. Everybody has this good and bad. And this is the worst. The shape, the nafs can, the worst shape the nafs can be in. This is the worst nafs. So the hasid, when he has this, even if he smiles, sometimes, oh, congratulations. Outside, but inside is burning, like a furnace. Wallahi, it happens. And this evil spirit, when it takes such shape, then it can hurt. And does it hurt all the time? No. Otherwise, nobody would have enjoyed any blessing. Right? If the hasid always hurt with his hasad, then nobody would enjoy any blessings. But it happened by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah may allow something like this to happen, like sihr, like black magic. Allah said in the Quran, وَمَا هُمْ بِضَارِّينَ بِهِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. Those who do black magic, they cannot hurt anybody unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows this to happen. It's like a bala for the believer. You have done nothing wrong, you are enjoying the blessing of Allah, you've not hurt anybody, it's not your fault. But Allah allows this to happen. Like He allows people to hurt physically. The stronger people can abuse the weak people. So what we need to do, you need to protect yourself. Imam al-Qayyim also says it's like someone going to fight without having the shields and the armors and this, what you call this, helmet. So any arrow that's coming, just you're done. So these arrows, you don't know where it's coming from. Could come from someone that you trust, someone that you never think that can hurt you. Could be someone really near to you. So you need to, since you don't know who is going to shoot, then you just protect yourself. That's why Rasulullah ﷺ himself used to put his hand on himself and read Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu Birabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas, and then he wipes on his body. He's Rasulullah ﷺ every night before he goes to bed. He read Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad wa Lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق من شر غاسق إذا وقب من شر النفاثات في العقد من شر حاسد إذا حسد. Surah Al-Nas. Then he wipes his entire body, whatever he can touch. He's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because we are not living alone here. You know the Wi-Fi and all these signals. How many signals around us now? Hundreds, right? All these TV stations and Wi-Fi and cell phones and all these things are around us. We don't see it, but it's there. So when you go and sleep, there are so many things around. Just seek Allah's help. Always read every morning. It's not that difficult. We waste a lot of time in very insignificant stuff. So how long will it take to say Qul Huwallahu Ahad 3 times? Qul A'udhu Birabbil Falaq 3 times? Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas 3 times in the morning and the same in the evening. Rasulullah ﷺ said when you say it in the morning, nothing will hurt you until the evening. If you say it in the evening, you are protected until the next morning. Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'a ismihi shay' fil ard wa la fis sama' wa huwa as-sami' al-alim. You are going with your wife and with your children somewhere, and you know there are plenty of people there. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people there are bad. You never know. Just while driving, you say, start Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'a ismihi shay' fil ard wa la fis sama' wa huwa as-sami' al-alim. You know, remember Yaqub alayhi salam when his children went to Egypt to bring food, and they won't take their. What do you say? قال يا بني لا تدخلوا من باب واحد. Don't go from one gate. Spread yourself. Go from. You don't want. I'm not beautiful, handsome, young, healthy, and coming from a noble family, and people know them. So when you see 12 brothers coming, you know it's. You don't want this to happen. Just be careful. Be careful. Protect yourself and leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot hide yourself. You cannot hide your blessings. Right? In fact, we should, instead of blaming others, because sometimes what happens is that something bad happens. Oh, you know, I met this guy this morning. Must be him. Right? And people do that all the time. Something goes wrong with your home, with your children. Oh, you're not. We visited these people last week. It must be them. And then you build. You never know. Allahu A'lam. You just need to protect yourself. Say the adhkar. Seek Allah's protection. You cannot control what's in the hearts of the people. And also make sure that you don't have this always be happy. What? Ulama actually talk about this. What if this happens? What if you got this? You failed it. We are humans. What should you do? Seek refuge in Allah subhanahu from shaitan. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim, and immediately pray for this person. Ya Allah, oh Allah, bless his marriage. Oh Allah, bless his job. Ya Allah, bless his children. That's the exact opposite of what shaitan wants you to do. That's the remedy for this. Once you feel something, going on in your heart when you see a blessing, we are not prophets. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim, and immediately pray for this person. That Allah blesses his. And even when you see something you like, you own, you enter your house, say, Alhamdulillah, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. You see your kids, MashaAllah, studying and praying and obedient to you and your wife, say, Alhamdulillah, Malak Alhamd. What do we say? The Quran said in Surah Al-Kahf, you remember the guy who has these two gardens? وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. You liked anything that you owned? مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Right? Anything. So مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Next week, inshallah, we'll talk about envy among the peers and relatives, and how can we prevent ourselves from committing hasad against others, and how can we protect ourselves from the hasad of other people against us. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر ان الانسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.